And if you take these words out of your dictionary, you will have a lot better relationships with others. Instead of saying, don't do this, put it in a positive spin. Just the power of words can change your life. And we're going to have a short video later on about that. Be careful with which crowd you associate yourself with, especially at work. So let's talk about respect. And we already talked about it. Is respect given or earned? And everybody deserves respect. There is no one better than the other. I am not better than you, you're not better than me. No one is better than no one. We need to respect each other the same way. And respect can start with saying please and thank you. These are the basics of respect. Just tell someone please and thank you. It's showing respect or concern for other people's feelings. And how respect is how you call people. Like for example, in the Hispanic culture, if someone is a little bit older than you, they will expect you to call them senor or mister and their last name, not their first name. The culture in the United States here, we are too friendly. We are a low power authority culture, meaning that even our CEOs or our directors, we can call them by their first name. But there are cultures like the Asian culture, Hispanic culture, and Middle Eastern culture where you can not just before knowing someone, calling them, be friends and calling them by first name. Call them Mr. or Mrs. and their last name till they invite you to call them by first name. It's very important to do that, and especially that you deal with a lot of customers from different backgrounds and different cultures. So show them the respect the way they want respect. That's what I meant when treat them like they want to be treated. Extending your hand, always extend your hand to people, but you need to remember that there are certain cultures where women will not shake a man's hand, especially people from Muslim backgrounds. The women will not shake your hand. If you meet a customer where it's a woman and she's covered, or she has, and women that cover are either from Jewish faith or from Muslim faith, but the Muslim faith is more announced. So be sure to be careful about shaking their hand. Let them offer their hand first, because they might not shake your hand because of religion. So this is something that we need to worry about. Value others and their times, and worry about other cultures. We're going to talk about culture after the break. Then integrity. Mark, you were talking about integrity earlier, and respect. See, they are two different things, but they are totally related. Because if you don't have integrity, I'm not going to be able to respect you. So you were totally right, but they are two different things.
That's kind of what I was getting at in the sense that it's earned.
Okay. You're perfectly correct. So integrity is basically following through and keeping your promises. It's very easy if you are unable to keep your promises, and sometimes you tell people, you know what, I'm going to do this for you at that time, and you try everything you can, but you can't. Just keep them informed that you have been trying and you need more time. Just that attention, especially in customer service, and Chip, I'm sure will agree with me. We'll tell them, if you tell them, I'll get back to you today by 4 p.m., and you don't have an answer for them, by 4 p.m. you call them and you tell them, you know what, I'm still working on it. I'll get back to you tomorrow. And you know how many people fail to do that? And in their mind, I'm still working on it, I'm not playing. But that other person needs that respect, that you tell them that you're still working on it, so they would know. Because if you don't tell me, I don't know. I'm a kind of a person that if you don't tell me something, I will not assume that this is what you're doing till you tell me. Trust is fragile, and only people with integrity are the people that we can trust, basically what Mark said earlier. Now we have the courtesy, and courtesy is due to everybody. We need to be courteous. It's part of the etiquettes, the good manners and consideration. So smiling. Have courtesy to everyone, everywhere, at all times. Dealing with conflict sometimes, be courteous to people that are rude to you. The more, when we need to remember that we deal with people as who we are, not as who they are. We cannot control people's actions. We have zero control on people's actions. But we have 100% control on our reactions. So we need to take control of ourselves and our reactions when we react with people. So no matter how rude they are, and if you deal with customers or clients or vendors, you will have people that will come and scream in your face because they're angry about something. It's not your place to get angrier at them. Let's see who can get angrier to the other. You know, just treat them with, believe it or not, just treat them politely, courteously, you know, with kindness. It will bring their anger totally down. It will make the whole difference, just to be heard, and they feel that you're really giving them that time and that attention to hear, and you're not angry at them. So, you know, being on the other side as a customer, I see it too sometimes actually I'm not angry, but it's the customer agent person that makes me angry. By their attitude, you know, that just like their total nonchalance, their total like, whatever, you know, whatever attitude is like, what can make you angry too? Okay, that's courtesy. And then we come with the kindness. And George W. Bush said, in the United States we have a national problem or a national disaster, that we are not kind to each other, and that we have etiquettes or manners problem. I mean, not exactly in this word, but this is the meaning of what he said. That people are starting to get so busy with themselves and their problems and their issues that they don't even acknowledge the presence of another human being next to them. So being kind is a necessity this day, and believe it or not, all human beings react to kindness, no matter how rude they are. So the more kind you are, the less rude then they become. So if you for example, you walk into a place, say good morning. If you're going out to lunch, ask your colleagues, you know, just as a kind gesture, do you want me to pick up something for you? You know, just as easy as that. That could be as kind. People remember kindness always, so leave an impression. Remember one time where someone was kind to you and what kind of impression it left on you. So always be kind to other people. Social skills, I want you to know that when we meet people, there are two stages. There is the immediate stage or perception, and there is the delayed one. The initial is when I see you is like the book and its cover, at a glance how I judge you, how I measure you. You know, so that's why we need always to look our best. So if you have someone that walks with torn jeans and torn t-shirt, would you deal with them the same way that someone walking in dressed properly? Exactly. You know, there was actually perceptions become reality. Perceptions are not realities, but perceptions are real to certain people. So we need to worry about these perceptions. Like there was a car dealer, and this is a true story. A car dealer, there was an African-American man that came in with a bag into a Mercedes dealership, and all the salespeople walked away from him. They said, oh, it's a loss of time. Till someone went and had an actually that guy bought a brand new Mercedes right there and then, paid like $10,000 cash as a deposit and left. So reading a book by its cover is not always the right way to do it. You know, you can find very rare books that are very valuable, you know, that their cover don't say anything. So we cannot really judge people how they look or the first impression that we get from them. So the impressions are real or perceived, and they are vary by cultures. So remember, perceptions, even in our communication. If I tell you my neighbor bought, or I bought an expensive car, how much do you think is expensive, Julie? $65,000. Done. There is no right or wrong answers, by the way. Done.
Yeah, I would say like $20,000, $30,000.
$30,000. Mary? 65.
It all depends what part of town you live.
Okay. No, for you, what does it mean? An expensive car?
More than 30.
More than 30. Ken?
40?
Mark?
Yeah, I was gonna say anything over 40.
Chip?
Yeah, over 40.
Brian?
I'd say more than about 50. You can get a pickup truck now for 30,000. So.
30,000.
That's cheap, it's cheap.
I could be telling you an expensive car. I'm talking about a Lamborghini that is $1 million. Or I could be talking about a Mercedes that is $125,000. Or a Tesla that is even more than that.
Yeah, see, I was thinking like, okay, expensive, what can I afford? That's not what's
Exactly. That's perception. That's perception. We perceive things and we translate things based on our perceptions.
I can't afford a $65,000 car. I'm just saying.
No,
That's expensive to me. Like,
you know what? And some people, 10,000 would be expensive. And some people, 20,000 would be expensive. So it's about our perceptions, about our backgrounds, about our experiences. So I want you to start kind of wrapping your head about that. what we perceive or what we assume is not necessarily the truth. So we cannot base our judgment based on that, because people are different. People are diverse. And that's the meaning of this exercise. That not what we see is not really reality. And we have to kind of accept that, because it's the world we live in. First impression. The first impression is, do we know when we really stopped having first impressions?
When do we stop having first impressions?
Once you get.
Real first impressions.
Once you get to know the person.
When we were 14 years old. By 14 years old, we have almost sold everything in life. The first impressions, what we call first impressions right now, psychologically, it's a gut reaction to someone that looks like the person in front of us. Rather, so we react to a gut reaction, not necessarily to the person in front of us. So we kind of perceive that person based on an article that we read in a newspaper, or a character in a movie, or a neighbor that we had, or a cousin that told us a story about someone that looked like that or was from the same ethnicity or background. And that's what, and we call it first impression. We say the gut feeling that we have about that person. You know, we judge people in a second thinking that we're right. And we decide if we like someone or we don't like someone in what, 15 seconds? But it has nothing to do with that person in front of us. It's a gut reaction that we have based on a memory that is in our subconscious. So that's, we need to be careful about that. So, but how do we have the first impression? If we want to know how, it's the way we look, the way we stand, the way we dress. It's our brand, basically. If I look to you in the eye, or I avoid your eye contact. But one important thing that we're going to talk about later on is the meaning of eye contact in different cultures. So the eye contact, personal space, introducing yourself to others, how you even shake hands, you know, how you greet someone, how fast you talk. For some reason, people feel that the people that talk fast are competent. They know what they're talking about, because the flow of words come like that, so their brain is working fast, meaning that they're competent and they know what they're talking about. So when you talk to someone and you want to make an impression, watch your ahs and ums and so's. And it's a great idea if you are in a public speaking job to go to be part of Toastmasters, because they teach you how to avoid the ahs, the ums, the so's, and all that, and the slang words. So the greeting and handshake. And remember that the first impression, there is something we call the 12 rules, the number 12 rules. So when someone sees you for the first time, 12 inch from the shoulder up. So 12 inch from the shoulder up, meaning your head, your face, how you're groomed, how your hair is, for a man and a woman, and we're going to talk about that in details. Then we have the 12 steps you take towards a person. So when you have a person and the 12 steps, are you steady? Are you straight? Or are you just like this? Are you looking, are you like, look like defeated? Do you look at the floor? Do you look at the person? So 12 inches from the shoulder up, 12 steps, and the 12 first words you speak to that person. And after 12 words, they basically make up their mind who you are and if they're going to like you or not. So that's why it's very important to know what we call your elevator pitch. Do we know what's an elevator pitch? An elevator pitch is part of your brand. And I want you to know that not only organizations and companies have a brand, but each one of us has a brand. So people expect you to introduce yourself in the time that takes you in an elevator from the top floor to the down floor. Basically 30 seconds to a minute. And you have to do your presentation like that, in 30 seconds to a minute. That's what we call an elevator pitch. So those 12 first words have to be thought really deeply.